Tem algumas pessoas esperando na sala.
Temos 23 participantes.
Uhum.
Boa tarde, pessoal. A gente está esperando um pouquinho mais entrarem. A gente
Tá,
já
mais um
inicia
minuto
logo
só,
mais.
pessoal. Mais um minuto.
Quem não acompanhou lá no grupo do WhatsApp, eu estarei hoje enviando uma lista de presença, tá bom? É só realmente digitar lá no Drive que eu vou disponibilizar o link. Bem fácil. Quem puder manter as câmeras ligadas, a gente agradece.
Uhum. Eu quero conhecer vocês também.
Aline.
Depois...
Perdão, desculpa.
Oi, quem fala?
É a Rebeca. Não, só para avisar
Rebeca,
que eu vou
pode
sair
falar,
da sala.
pode falar.
Não, só vou sair da sala e entrar de novo, porque deu um problema com a minha câmera. Aí é só para avisar que eu não sei se precisa autorizar. Acho que tudo bem, né? Sem entrar.
Tudo.
Sem que avisar nada.
Se
Tá
der
bom.
qualquer problema, você entra com a senha.
Tá bom, beleza.
Tá bom?
Perdão, incomodou.
Estão perguntando sobre a presença da semana passada. Ela foi computada mediante a participação no aplicativo. Ele disponibiliza para a gente, tá bom, gente? Mas qualquer correção, a gente está disponível para resolver.
Vamos começar?
Let's start, teacher.
Let's start. Ok. Deixa eu fechar isso daqui. Júlia, estou admitindo a Júlia. Eu vou, nesse primeiro momento, Aline, parar de compartilhar o PowerPoint, tá? Para a gente poder ver um painel de todo mundo juntos e bater um papinho com todo mundo. Stop share. Aí vem todo mundo. Deixa eu só tirar esse chat. Ok. Bem, agora nós temos duas telas com todo mundo. Perfeito. Vamos lá então, pessoal. Good afternoon. Eu sou Edson Canella. Acho que alguns de vocês já, em algum momento, nos encontramos, né? Brasil inteiro, por 10 anos, 11 ou 12, eu não sei, eu já perdi a conta nessa altura do campeonato. É um prazer absurdo estar aqui com vocês, né? Eu já vejo que a Vislane estava na última que a professora Adiane fez, eu vi seu nome. Eu acho que foi um dos poucos que eu guardei. E cá estamos nós de novo, né? Irmos para a sessão número 2, que é Listening e Speaking, tá? Como eu disse, eu sou o professor Edson Canella, professor por convicção, Se tiver que escolher de novo, morrer e tiver que estudar outra coisa, vai ser letras, literatura de novo, com certeza, línguas e idiomas. Eu sou um professor convicto, pessoal. Eu sempre falo isso em todas as entradas, porque eu amo minha profissão, adoro minha profissão, criei minha família, criei filha. Tudo que eu tenho vem da minha profissão, tá? Então, assim, eu sou 100% professor e eu ainda não enjoei de ser professor, tá? Vai fazer 40 anos, eu vou fazer 39 anos de professorado e eu acho que até os 40 eu não vou cansar, não. Daqui 2 anos, talvez eu pense em dar uma parada. Por enquanto, não, tá? Eu sei que eu estou lidando com professores também, né? Ou alunos do último ano, futuro professores. Só dando um toque para vocês, é uma profissão espetacular. Eu duvido que algum de vocês se arrependa, tá? É beneditina, é uma coisa de entrega, mas é uma coisa que você recebe tanto quanto você entrega, tanto quanto você dá. Nós não estamos falando de questões salariais ou qualquer coisa desse gênero, tá? Nós estamos falando que ser professor é muito legal, tá? As outras questões, vocês terão uma longa carreira para discutir. Eu trabalho aqui em São Paulo, trabalho para a ETS já há 12 anos, e em São Paulo eu sou professor numa instituição grande, a Fundação Armando Álvares Penteado, já vou para 25 anos nessa instituição, e para a ETS, eu e a professora Diane andamos pelo Brasil, por toda a América do Sul, falando sobre TOEFL, explicando sobre esse teste, que nós acreditamos muito, que nós gostamos muito, tá? E também nós temos um novo teste, que muito em breve vocês terão mais e mais notícias dele, que é o TOEFL Essentials. Hoje, especificamente, nós vamos falar sobre o TOEFL IBT e como preparar alunos para o TOEFL IBT. O workshop de hoje ele é direcionado a preparar alunos para o TOEFL IBT, tá? Ele pode ser uma forma de trabalho para você, essa informação toda, né? Junto com essa apostila que a professora Diane, no primeiro momento, compartilhou com vocês, que pode ser fotocopiada, que tem muito material para vocês usarem com os alunos de vocês, tá? É uma forma de, inclusive, ganhar com aulas particulares. Eu acho que preparar alunos hoje para o TOEFL IBT, para os testes de proficiência, é uma forma de tirar algum dinheiro extra. Eu acho isso muito, muito, muito proveitoso, tá? Inicialmente, eu queria saber, vocês já falaram isso para a Diane, mas eu também gostaria de saber, vocês estão onde, né? Que local? Eu estou em São Paulo, capital, tá? Estou bem próximo da Avenida Paulista, no Pacaembu. Tá um calor infernal aqui hoje, mas vai cair uma chuva violenta. Nossa, nós temos pessoas de Pelotas, conheça Pelotas, cidade linda. Francisco Beltrão, Paraná, Campo Grande, Mato Grosso, Cornélio Procópio. Guarulhos, está aqui pertinho de mim, né? Paraná de novo, Rio Grande. Meu Deus, tem o Brasil inteiro aqui. Mais Paraná, mais Paraná. São João del Rei, Minas Gerais. Eu sou de Minas, tá? De uma cidade tão histórica quanto São João, pessoal. Sou de Sabará. Nossa, tem pessoas de Marabá, pessoas de Pernambuco, lá em cima no Pará, Belém também lá no Pará, São Carlos, aqui em São Paulo, capital. Bem, a todos vocês, muito obrigado por estarem aqui, né? Muito obrigado por fazerem parte desse grupo. E eu gostaria que a qualquer momento vocês me interrompessem. Eu não tenho problema com isso, porque da mesma forma que acontece comigo, pode acontecer com outras pessoas, a gente tem a pergunta naquele momento e depois essa pergunta vai embora, né? E a pergunta de qualquer um é importante para todos, uma vez que, né, pode ser exatamente a pergunta que os outros queiram fazer, né? Mais uma vez, bem-vindos a todos e todas. Deixa eu compartilhar o meu primeiro slide com vocês. Esse daqui. Ok. Tá. Só lembrando, pessoal, que nós estamos lidando com a internet e a internet obedece a gente até um certo ponto, né? Até um certo limite. A internet tem vontade própria, todos nós já sabemos disso. Então, qualquer problema, se cair o link, se ficar travado, a gente volta para o mesmo bate-lugar, para o mesmo bate-link, e para continuar tudo, tá? Esse link é um link sem tempo determinado, e ele vai estar lá, caso alguém caia, caso a conexão quebre ou alguma coisa. Vocês podem abrir a câmera na hora que vocês quiserem, e eu também entendo que para algumas conexões, quando se abre a câmera, o delivery, né, fica meio como slow motion, então faça do jeito que ficar melhor para vocês. Esse é o nosso primeiro recado. Como vocês são professores e como vocês estão atrelados a instituições, né, nós queríamos mostrar essa dica, ou dar essa dica, Become a TOEFL Score User, tá? Nesse começo a gente fala em português, mistura inglês, e depois o workshop itself, nós falamos tudo em inglês, tá? For graduation requirements, for testing out of graduate and undergraduate programs, English requirements. O que é isso, Edson? Isso significa que os scores online podem ser visualizados pelos escritórios de relações internacionais, né, pelos International Relations Offices, dentro da instituição. A instituição vai receber um aluno, esse aluno fez o TOEFL, ela pode ir, instituição mesmo, e ver esse score, esse teste do aluno. Vale a pena dizer que isso é free to institutions and organizations that have a GRE or a TOEFL score reporting code. Eu já explico o que é isso, tá? Então, o Data Manager é quando você consegue fazer a administração dos dados desses alunos que você vai receber. O aluno fez o TOEFL, colocou o TOEFL lá, você, através do Data Manager, vai observar. Ele não precisa mandar esse TOEFL para você. Você consegue entrar e ver isso. Veja se isso seria uma boa coisa para as instituições para as quais vocês trabalham, né? Quantos TOEFLs vocês recebem? A facilidade de se ir até o banco de dados da própria ETS e visualizar o score do aluno que você quer. Para isso, tá? Ele tem que abrir a instituição em si, não o aluno, né? Tem que abrir uma Designated Institution, que a gente chama de DI, tá? Vai preencher um formulário, né? A instituição vai preencher um formulário que está aqui nesse link, tá? E depois de preencher esse formulário, a ETS vai entrar em contato, tá? An ETS representative will contact you using the information provided on the form, okay? This form is for institutions only. Students should visit ets.org/TOEFL, que não vai permitir que ele veja scores de outros alunos, né? Isso é óbvio. E as instituições podem visitar ETS Institution Portal to request ETS Data Manager Access, tá? Tudo começa com vocês preenchendo o formulário do Designated Institution. Uma vez que vocês fizeram isso, foram aceitos, está tudo dentro da conformidade, a sua instituição receberá um número, né? Por exemplo, a instituição para a qual eu trabalho tem um DI, e quando eu quero ver o TOEFL de qualquer aluno, né, eu entro no ETS Institution Portal, né, e vou direto para o link do Data Manager Access. Lá eu consigo ver o report, o score desse aluno que está querendo vir para minha ou para a instituição que eu trabalho. Nós temos aqui também a professora Diana. Diana, você ainda está aí?
Estou aqui, Edson. Tudo
bem?
Você
quer dar um oi para o pessoal? Antes de eu começar? Porque você estará com esse passo, né? O meu último slide é Next, Writing with a Diane, ok? Então, você fecha essa série de workshops com eles.
Sim, sim, só queria dar um oi para todo mundo, muito bom ver muitos de vocês que estavam aqui na reunião passada, no encontro passado, muito gratificante ver todos, muitos de vocês aqui, e eu só queria desejar boa sorte para todos, e que seja um ótimo workshop, que vocês consigam aprender muito, ou encontrar mais informações, se atualizarem ainda mais, né, a respeito do TOEFL IBT. Lembrando que esse workshop é um workshop voltado para instrutores, para professores de inglês, então não é algo que a gente apresenta para alunos, né? Então, por isso que tem muitas informações aqui que somente o professor tem acesso, porque o PROPELL Workshop, né, é somente para professores de inglês. Então, eu quero só desejar boa sorte com a apresentação para o professor Edson e para a Aline, como mediadora, e muito bom aprendizados para todos, e nos vemos na próxima com a Writing e TOEFL Resource Material, ok? Na última sessão a gente vai estar apresentando muita informação a respeito de material preparatório e recursos também para vocês trabalharem com seus alunos. Um abraço e muito obrigada.
Ok, obrigado a você, Diane. Well, let's go. Can everybody see the PowerPoint in full, Aline? Or you're seeing all the slides? Okay, so let's go to the second one. As I told you, I'm Edson Canella. Okay, nice to meet you all. Workshops materials. First of all, I do need the PROPELL manual that Aline sent to you last week. Okay, if any of you get any problem in accessing this material, please let us know so that Aline can share again. Aline, you said that the material was shared in WhatsApp account. Is that true? Did I understand it correctly?
Yes, it is in the description group, all right?
Okay, so I do need that you access that during the workshop, okay? So for reading, listening, speaking, and writing materials are all in there, okay? Also, you're gonna find there more skills and activities. The scoring guides, that is very, very important, especially for the speaking and writing sections. And speaking and listening online materials. Well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 students to prepare them for the TOEFL, okay? So go to these speaking and listening online materials, get all these materials so that you can give them more options of training to your students. I'm sure that you can develop a very good work with your students using these materials. And the best of all, they are free materials. Well, listening and speaking sections, our objectives in these 2 sessions, we will explain and use the scoring guides for speaking to score real test take responses. That means we have real responses, and using the scoring guides that we call rubrics. You have them in the manual that you received, that you got. You are gonna not guess, but tell me if the student is number 1, 2, 3, 4 levels, okay? Let me add it to Patricia, okay? Identify classroom learning objectives for each skill, demonstrate classroom activities for the TOEFL IBT test. We have plenty of ideas. I can tell you that you can give more than 100 different classes. So if we count all the 4 skills, okay, approximately 25 skills, or 25 different classes for each skill. And, you know, you can spend 1, 2, 3 months preparing your students using the material that we shared with you. And the last one, share ideas for classroom activities and lesson plans using the learning objectives. Again, if you have any question, please let me know, okay? You can interrupt me anytime. I like that. First, a very quick overview of the test. We always do that. I know that, Professor.
De Enem, redação Enem.
Okay. We have a microphone open, please.
Yes.
Uma menina que tá fazendo no Instagram mesmo.
The person who is talking about Enem, could you please close the microphone?
I think it's Beatriz, please. Or Patricia.
Or Deborah, I don't know. Okay, let me try to close all the microphones. This is the best thing. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, participants, just a minute, please. Okay, mute all. Allow all to mute themselves? Yes. Okay, now all of you are mute. If you need to talk to me, please unmute. Adriana has done this. I'm going to do it again, okay? 3 hours of test. You go there to the test center, or you can take a TOEFL home edition. That TOEFL you take in your home, okay? And when you enter the test center, let's talk about the test center, because I think everybody wants to go out and have a test. I would say have a fun, but no, have a test. We stayed a lot at home already. So you go to a test center, and there you are gonna have your photo taken, your documentation checked, okay, your seat will be checked, they're gonna take your photo, you're gonna have a voice test. And when you finally sit in front of your test, you will find 54 to 72 minutes on reading, okay? 3 to 4 reading passages, so 10 questions each. And on a total of, out of the 120, this is 30. The listening, 3 to 4 lectures, 6 questions each, and the listening, 2 to 3 conversations, 5 questions each. 41 to 57 minutes, and that means you are going to take 72 minutes in the first one, 57 minutes in the second one. This is a little bit difficult. It might happen, but it's a kind of randomized, okay? The time is controlled so that you spend no more than 3 hours there answering the test. After that, you have a break time. I really recommend you to leave the seat. In fact, it's mandatory that you leave the seat. Tell your students that he, she can't stay there staring at the computer. The test isn't going to pop up unless, okay, the proctor, the person who is controlling the test enters. It's a very nice time. Please tell your students, or if you are going to take the test, it's a very nice time for you to go to the bathroom and drink some water. Mainly because that water that you drank in the beginning of the test probably won't leave in the middle of the test. So this is the right moment for you to go, okay? And I can tell you that for sure, because I administrated a test center for more than 15 years. So everything happens, okay? A student that had to leave in the middle of the writing to go to the bathroom, okay, he, she can, but they will lose precious minutes for the test. Okay, control this during the break time. After that, you have the speaking section, maximum of 17 minutes for task 1 independent and 3 integrated, and the writing also 2 tasks, this time 2 tasks, 1 independent, another 1 integrated, 50 minutes. After that, okay, you leave the room, cross your fingers, and hopefully you're gonna get 120. If you want to know a little bit more, okay, this is the website where you can find more info. Any question about this structure? I don't think so, but if you have, please let me know. Okay. Now, let's describe the listening section. Okay, and this is an important part of the test. Just a remind, listening and reading, they are input. They are language that we acquire, and speaking and writing outputs. If you listen quite well, you probably will speak quite well as well. If you read very well and you understand texts very clearly and easily, probably you're going to write well as well. Okay. Edson, what's a good score? You can tell your students that a good score starts as from 80, 90. 90 is a good score. And if your student wants to go to an Ivy League, very top university, probably will be more than 100. Okay, more than 100. In the institution where I work, when a student wanted to go to Brown University, and they were asking, and they were requiring 112. That's really a lot, but the student got 114. So it's possible. It's just a matter of training the students and letting them know how the text works, what is the structure of the text. Okay. In fact, when you train your students, of course you give them some advices. Oh, say on campus, not in campus. The preposition is this. This is the right prepositions, and so on and so forth. But in fact, you are not teaching English to your students. No. You are teaching much more the structure of the task than English. If your student comes to you, and I can tell this to you because it happened to me many times. If your students come to you and say, I need to learn English, so this is not the appropriate, the right, the correct class for him. Learning English is one thing. Preparing for TOEFL IBT is supposed that you know English already, that you are at least a B2 level. A B2, I'm referring to a common European framework of reference for languages. It can be the end of B1 entering B2. If the student is a real B2, he can get almost 100. Okay, so learning English, the structure of the language is one thing. Preparing yourself or preparing your students for TOEFL is another completely different class. I'm telling you that because some students come and say, I need to learn some English for the TOEFL. Okay, so study English, not prepare for the TOEFL. Preparing for the TOEFL, you're going to know the types of questions, the types of answers, how you should answer, the best and the most appropriate answer. And you're going to use your English, the English that you have acquired, to prepare your answers. That's it. It's very important that we be clear with our students. Otherwise, things can be mixed. The background. That is, what do you need to listening, to the listening section, okay? Well, later you can look at these in more depth in a little bit as well. We go into the materials in the kit. The materials in the kit, they describe some of the question types that are included in the test, about the and also about the purpose of these questions. Okay, first of all, we read for basic comprehension. Sorry, not we read, we listen for basic comprehension. It's very important. The basic comprehension questions a test taker sees in the test might ask something like what the speakers are mainly discussing, the pragmatic understand would be the test taker will answer why a professor mentions a particular detail in a lecture, and also deconnect and synthesize information. Questions like this might ask the test taker to make an inference about something that is not directly stated in the conversation. This is tricky because you have to your student, when I mean you, your student, might pay attention to what he can observe or what he can understand, let's say, behind the curtains. Okay, it's not there stated directly in the listening, but you can infer, you might infer. These are included in the test because they are really relevant to what the university students would be asked, would face inside a classroom, okay? And all these questions, if you study them in depth, you will observe that they are based on real life academic listening and situations that a university student would encounter, okay? Discussions, types of listening stimuli. We have conversations and we have lectures. The conversations can be discussions with professors and also service encounters. Let's say the listening test items were designed to draw on types of listenings that real occur in the academic environment. They have to be relevant to the student, the test taker, so that the situation that you pass to answer this question, so the situation you pass to answer the test will be almost the same type of situation that you will find inside a classroom in a university, okay? The lectures, they can be monologue and interactive. Monologue, only the teacher is explaining and no interruption of the students. This happens all the time. I don't like this type of teaching anyway. I prefer that students interrupt me and ask at that moment when they have the question, and they can be interactive. Okay, when we have a discussion between professors and the students, so when we talk everybody together. The total listening section, academic lectures and informal campus conversation. Okay, well, for these two types of occurrences in the listening section, academic lectures, we will have 3 to 4 lectures, some with classroom discussion, and approximately 5 minutes long. Oh, that's too much, believe. And at this time, note taking is vital, okay? In a previous workshop that we call skill-based workshop, I gave you lots of clues for note taking, okay? If you find that relevant, I can share some material, or at least 1-2 pages about how to take notes, so that you can share with your students, because of listening and the speaking section, note taking is really vital. Otherwise, you're gonna forget. For each 5 minutes long conversation, you will have 6 questions. When we have an informal campus conversations, you're gonna have a total of a maximum of 3 conversations, approximately 3 minutes long. Note taking is also very necessary. Each conversation is followed by 5 questions. All questions here are worth 1 point, okay? Professor Adiani probably told you that in the reading section, we have questions that worth 1 point, some questions are worth 2 and even 3 points. in the listening section, all the questions are worth 1 point. And for the lectures that are approximately 5 minutes long, okay, the more you take note, the better for you, the better for the student. And we have to tell them that we don't have the transcript of the listening, okay? We are not stenographers. We just have to take the most important pieces of information inside that listening. And remember, it's 41 to 57 minutes, the total of this section. And this might be tiring. So that's why, if the student is prepared, okay, she can answer all those questions not easily, but in a calm way. If he loses control, sorry, of the timer, probably he is going to mix and have some problems. Well, simple questions, listening skills, and learning objectives. So look at the simple questions in the workshop manual at page 25 to 29. Now I'm going to ask you, please, to open the workshop manual, okay, and go over through page 25 to, okay, from page 25 to page 29, please. And we're going to take a look at the learning objectives associated with each of the questions, okay? And later, okay, in 2-3 minutes, I'm going to ask you some questions. If you can do that, I really appreciate it. Okay, any question? Again, okay, you'll need the workshop manual for this activity. It was supposed to work in groups, but I don't want to work in groups since I don't want to take the breakout rooms now. I'm going to leave the breakout rooms maybe for the speaking section. And just go back and take a look on these pages. Please. Does anybody need the booklet? Okay, no answer. Okay, we have one. I would say no news is good news. I need KKK. Julia, she needs. Aline, please help Julia. I don't think I have the link. I do.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Okay, that's why I like so much to be a teacher. Okay.
Maybe she's the one who just entered in the group. We had 2 people.
Yes, but we don't care about that, okay? You have the same rights. Okay, the most important is that she participates and that she asks questions, okay? Very difficult questions. Let me see, we have more girls than boys? No, we have a good mix. A good mix. Okay, 1 more minute. I think I have the manual here. Okay, I'm going to stop. I don't do this very often, okay, but I'm going to do this time just to share.
I shared again, teacher.
You shared with them?
I think it's okay. Does anyone still need it?
Okay, if somebody needs it, I can open the manual here.
All right.
And remember, teachers, this material is vital for you to teach your students. Okay, of course, the amount of salt and pepper you chose on your classes. This is just a guide, and your teaching ability will make this material much more interesting to your students. Okay, I'm going to share some pieces of information that I use it to do with my students. In fact, I don't prepare students for the TOEFL anymore, but we have a TOEFL prep course that I coordinate in the institution, at the institution where I work. And we try to make to deliver very different classes. Okay, we try not to repeat the strategy, and that's why the booklet would help you a lot. Sometimes we use movies, and from the movies we try to make an interactive question. We try to make that a piece of listening for the students. Sometimes we go to National Geographic and take a piece of information there so that we can explore. We try to make it the most academic possible, okay? But we try to vary the types of activities very often. And this will be extremely important to your students. Elaine has just arrived. Okay, let me see. Wow, we have 31 people now. No questions? Okay, I'm gonna ask you one single question, okay? What did you think of this listening objectives, of these suggestions for listening activities? Can you add one more? Can you give me one example, one more example, share with us, okay? One more example of activity that you would use with your students, please. Let's have 3-4 minutes to talk about that. Just a reminder that time flies, okay? And we have 2 hours, a maximum of 2 hours and something for both sections. I have no answer yet. I don't think you didn't go to the workshop manual. You can also give a suggestion, include something, or tell me which one you like the most. Not yet. I'm waiting for. I'm gonna choose someone randomly, by chance. Come on, please, no shame, okay? No shame. And something that I forgot telling you, you direct in the language that you want to, okay? I'm explaining in English because it's easier to explain this in English, since the test is totally in English. But if you don't want to speak in English, okay, you can say something in Portuguese, in Spanish, French, or whatever you want. Okay, no, whatever you want, no. Let me see if I have one. I don't have any answer. Why is that?
I'm shocked too, teacher.
I'm shocked. Okay, Rebecca, can you tell us something? What do you think will give us an idea of a listening activity? Something that you have used with your students already? Anything?
Actually, I was thinking that, I don't know if it is me, but the manual is not that clear as I was hoping for. So I was trying to figure it out how to read and try to propose something.
Okay.
But speaking of listening activity, one of the activities that I propose to my students is it was a simple one, okay? It was this.
Okay, but simple
the
ones
first
are
thing that
always the best one.
the first one that pops up in my mind is to listen only an audio like a podcast or something, and kind of write down what you are listening in on chat or something. But is this, I can't think of anything else,
Okay,
because I was trying to read the minutes.
Rebecca, this is a very good possibility of taking taking notes. Okay, this activity that you suggested is also very good to train students, Rebecca, to take notes. Julian, can you say something to us?
Sure. I was thinking the same. I think it's excellent to have our students practice with these kinds of concepts to try to acquire the main ideas of the things they're listening to.
Okay.
So I use a lot of TV series in my classes, because usually that's something that they do in their spare time, and it's something that we can use as a teaching tool.
Okay. This is a very good strategy, and if you are going to use this for TOEFL IBT prep courses, the more you go to an academic environment, the better to your students. Okay, that's why I suggested the National Geographic, because sometimes we have texts inside the TOEFL IBT that tells about the dolphins, that tells about the whales, tell about volcanoes, ancient Egyptian history, things like those. Well, we had two people. Let me try to find another one. Okay. One boy, one girl. Let me see. Deborah, are you there? I don't think Deborah is there. Maybe Deborah is making believe she's not there. Lara, are you there? No.
Hi,
Okay.
Lara Coutrin.
Yes, Lara. Oh, thank you. Lara, can you give us another example? I asked, for volunteers, but no answers. So I'm choosing my volunteers.
Can I be honest? I didn't understand the question. I have to give an example about some listening activities to my students.
Yes. I think that you are using with your student that you think you could use it to prepare them for the TOEFL.
I really like to tell them to listen some songs, and in songs we learn. I know that is not in the way of academic.
Okay.
But like, como que eu posso dizer, tipo, a linguagem acadêmica, but you learn a lot of English too. Since I was little, I used to watch some series like Julian and the other girls said, and I really like to listen some music and see the translation. This is how I learn a lot about English. So I think this is a really simple activity that you can do day by day, and you learn a lot from this.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Laura. Thank you so much for your cooperation and for your tools, ideas. In fact, I can tell you that my first English course was listening to Yes songs. Yes is a rich group, a group from England, and Tina Turner and sing a lot of songs as well. Okay. At a certain time of my life, my vocabulary was the same vocabulary that they sang in their songs. And then later, I went to university to study English. This is true. As you said, the songs they don't drive, they don't direct you to academic settings. Anyway, you can also put a discourse. Let's suppose the president speaking something. Bill Clinton had wonderful talks. So also Barack Obama. What a nice English that man has. We can take some podcasts with them talking with their lecturers. So, and let our students listen to them. Also, in the website, ETS website, we can find lots of other suggestions for the listening activities as well. Okay, we have somebody in the chat. Areta Cordeiro to everyone. I love, yes. Oh, Areta, that's it. Okay, John Anderson is the best. Areta, probably you are more. You are more than 45, let's say, years old. Okay, very good to know that people that are 30. Wow, wow. What an I have to say, Areta, that you have maybe a nation soul, something like that. Okay, my daughter is 30 years old and she also likes yes, but this has to do with me. Okay, she observed I listening to that I listen to yes most of the time, and maybe she likes because of that, but not that she likes that. But it's different from you that I really love yes. Okay, congrats for you. Well, after that, let's go to activity 5. This activity, you will find it on activities book, page 79. It's a simple listening activity that our students will find in the TOEFL test. Let me share sound with all of you, just to be sure. Okay, it's shared already.
Listen to part of a conversation in a library.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a reference book.
Okay. Do you know the title?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for. I need information on European demographics.
Okay. Do you just need population statistics like total population, male, female, real basics for demographics?
Yeah, population, literacy rate, let's see, life expectancy by gender, like if women tend to live longer than men, things like that.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure you get most, if not all, of those statistics from an atlas. I can tell you where to find one in the reference section.
Yeah, but I'm kind of looking for it by city, not by country in the atlas I saw.
Uh-huh. I see.
Well, do you know if there are any other reference books I can use for this to find the statistics by city?
City, you say. Any particular part of Europe? Eastern, Western, Southern?
No, pretty much all across Europe.
All of Europe. You know, maybe you could tell me what this is for. I mean, maybe if I know, I can help you better.
Yeah, okay. Geography with Professor Miller, and it's sort of an analysis of urban areas, a comparison of population trends and economic indicators, social indicators, I guess.
Okay, well, there's something called the demographic yearbook, but I don't think it's going to do it by city.
Yeah, I think that's just by country.
You've already looked at it? I think you're right, but I'm just going to check it first because it would be easy if it were there. Yeah, population by country. Okay, let's see. Did your professor give you any ideas on where to look? I mean, because if you need the demographic information by city...
No, she didn't. She just gave us the assignment, and I figured I could find what I needed here without too much of a problem.
Yeah, it should be easier than this. I mean, I know there's one for North American cities, but I don't think that'll be a big help.
Nah.
Tell you what, let's go over to the reference section. Let's take a look around that area and see if anything looks promising.
Okay, this is that type of activity that takes 3 minutes long. Was it possible to observe free wall the amount of information that we have inside a single listening, let's say 3 minute long listening piece of listening? Well, it's very important to tell our students to take note. I would take note the books, the name of the books she has mentioned, the Professor Miller, the main topic of the conversation, that is the subject he studies, We can direct our students to this, okay? And to finish the listening demonstration, this is a type of homework for you all. I would like to spend more time with you on the listening section, but on the activities book, activities 5 and 6, and review of the more skill book, you have these this type of activity. Skim the activity book, then talk with a partner, okay? We can ask to our friends. We are in a group of 3, and I think would be very good if we could interact with others. We aren't going to do this right now, but we are going to do this in the speaking section, okay? Which activities would be most useful for your students? So remember, we are in different parts of the country, okay? We have people from the very north until the very south of the country, and one strategy that works for people in Mato Grosso might not work for people in Pernambuco, and so on and so forth, okay? Also, when we guide our students to listen to things that they like, for example, specific pieces of listening, so talking about Pernambuco would really make students from Pernambuco very happy. Okay, try to value the culture of the state, the culture of that place also is a very important thing. And maybe this piece of lesson has nothing to do with the TOEFL, but we can drive that to at least get near to an academic setting, to a TOEFL type of question. As I have mentioned, okay, the instructional cycle starts with a pre-task. Our students, they must have a pre-task. Then they have a task, and it concludes that task with a follow-up activity. This is vital to close the cycle of learning, the cycle of learning process. Also, when we are in a classroom with our students, we have to consider that there are both instructor and the student directions. Okay, we have to guide our students to the direction that we think it will be useful for him. Also, learning objectives have to drive all the activities. We aren't going to teach anything just by chance. That's why we have to have a pre-task, the task itself, and the follow-up. And that's why I'm telling you, learning objectives drive all the activities. And I think somebody said that's a little bit confusing in the workshop manual. Probably is that observation is because you were pressured for time. I asked you to do that in 2-3 minutes, so we get a little bit mixed up with the readings, with the ideas. But if you pay attention on the structure of the workshop manual, you're gonna observe that all the tasks, they have learning objectives. And I really tell you, these objectives should drive all the activities. And these are meant to be models. The examples that we have, they are meant to be models for how to use these TOEFL IBT learning objectives to design, to create classroom activities that will allow students to succeed on TOEFL IBT or any English classroom. It's just a matter of adapting. And something that I liked a lot with the teachers I've talked during this first moment is they are really aware what is good for TOEFL and what's good for an English classroom. TOEFL is an academic proficiency test. So if you're gonna direct our students to TOEFL IBT test, we should prepare academic activities and design it, or at least activities that have to do with academic settings. Okay, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that all the activities must be strictly linked to or attached to academic environment or academic settings. But the more they are, the better will be for the preparation of these students. Okay. Any questions on listening, please? Anything that you would like to add? I really appreciate if you would help me with one or two words from yourselves.
I just like to add something. I don't know if I'm being repetitive, but I think
no, you're not. You're not. And if you are being repetitive, it's good that we learn more. Okay, Deborah, are you? Is that you, Deborah?
No, it's Rebecca. You can call me.
Oh, Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, please.
No, I was thinking that listening, it's pretty much about training your ears more than training your eyes. So it was just something that I always often talk to my students, because in reading you need to recognize some things by seeing, by not seeing, but looking. And in speaking and listening, you need to recognize some sounds or even. But I was just thinking out loud.
Okay, that's good, and thank you, really thank you, because when you say that, it's exactly. Do you remember when I said input and output? And when an activity is an input, language input, and when it's language output, the idea and the senses that you use, they are totally different. Okay, you are gonna use your ear and your eyes for some senses, and then the ability of writing and the ability of speaking for others. And the way that you are going to acquire these pieces of information, or that you are going to be able to express yourself, that varies from person to person. Okay, I used to have lots of problems when I studied English. I really had lots of problems with the listening. For me, they were speaking Chinese and then English. I was not able to understand, and this was really the skill that I had more problems in the past. Today, to me, is one of the easiest. Well, I like all of them. I think I like speaking and writing more, but listening is not more a problem. Why? I train it. And you are very right when you say it depends on the sense that you use. And sometimes we are listening, but we try to see things. And that's not possible because you are listening. However, for the listening in the TOEFL IBT test, note-taking is vital because we have lots of pieces of very tricky information, and they might ask you about that information. Since listening depends only on you, we as teachers, we as professors, can train our students by giving them lots of listening sections, listening pieces, listening exercises, following up and make a follow-up. Okay, conclude all these activities with a follow-up. But it's gonna depend much more on them than on us, because listening and reading demands a lot from their cognitive responses, cognitive abilities. On the other hand, speaking and writing, I think we can help them to improve a little bit more because we have some tricks for these activities. Okay, we can teach our students how to start. I speak in a response or which word and transition word conjunction he can include in that piece of writing. And this is a kind of a mechanic, automatic. That's why I think it's easier to make them, to help them, not to make them, sorry, and to help them with the speaking and the writing sections, okay? Anyway, any other comment on listening? Remember, yeah. Hi, who is talking?
It's Julian.
Julian, okay.
Yeah, I just like to say that I took the test recently, and one of the important parts for the listening part, other than, of course, listening, was note taking, because we need some very specific things to take notes. Yeah, that was very important because I thought I would be taking notes on like paper, but no, I had to buy a small whiteboard, and I had to use my pens from the courses I teach. So it was very difficult because I had to write in a it's kind of like this one, this board here that I use.
Yes. Julian,
So,
thank you so much for sharing, okay? Let me interrupt you for a second, then I give you the word again.
Go ahead.
Otherwise, I'm gonna forget. Remember, I'm older than I look. You took the home edition TOEFL IBT, okay? Because on the home edition of TOEFL IBT, you do need this whiteboard to take notes, or another thing that some people, they don't explain, you can take, for example, I don't know, I can't see my image. Let me find my image so that I have control of what I'm showing. You can take a kind of a plastic bag, just like a white plastic bag, okay? Put a sheet of paper inside it, and with those markers, just like this one, okay, this one is a marker, you can write and erase with a toilet paper, okay, or Kleenex tissues. You can erase with that. If you had taken more info about that, probably you didn't need to buy, you wouldn't need to buy a whiteboard. Anyway, you can use this board to teach your students and so on. And that's why I told in the beginning, note taking is extremely important. Also, Julian, when you go to a test center, it's a little bit easier because you get 3 sheets of paper, and you can write on them. And if you need more paper, you just raise your hand and the person brings more paper to you. When you do the note-taking activity at home, the proctor, the person who is looking at you, this person really needs to be very aware that you are not cheating. That's why you have to use a whiteboard or this technique, putting the sheets of paper inside a plastic bag. Please continue, Julian.
No, I just wanted to make that remark because it was, I was caught by surprise because I thought I'd be able to use paper, but then I had to like change everything up. So it's good that people know beforehand, right?
Yes, that's why we need to prepare our students, and we need to tell them that TOEFL in a test center is one thing, TOEFL at home is another thing. Edson, the tests are different. No, I'm not telling you that. They are the same test, but the way you are going to take that test, the way the test will be delivered to you is totally different. Okay, for example, you have to take your ID card, put in front of your face, so that the person, the proctor, looks at your ID card and you and compare if you are the same person. Okay, you have to show the room to him in a 360 degrees overview of the room. This isn't going to happen when you go to a test center, because the proctor is there, they're looking at you. Okay, everything, in my opinion, is much easier when you are in a test center. But hopefully TOEFL ETS created the TOEFL Home Edition, and because this was the real salvation for the students that went to study abroad during this hard time of pandemic. So we are in the pandemic, we are still in the pandemic. So this thing seems that will never end. But during that very hard time that we had no vaccine and that we were in the very eye of the pandemics, the only possibility was the TOEFL Home Edition. Okay, and it was so good, Juliana, that it was a special Home Edition, and now it's Home Edition, and because it's forever. Okay, you can take it at home or you can take it at a test center. We have two people or two sentences in the chat. Let me see. Does the TOEFL IBT use mostly or solely US variant in listening? Okay, no. You have a different accents, okay? It's English for international communication. Sometimes you have foreign students. It's remember, it's English for international communication. So you're gonna listen to a very good, clear English. Also very good for you, very good that you have said that. I'm gonna say something about in the speaking section. Our students of TOEFL IBT better say TOEFL IBT doesn't want you to speak in English like an American person speaks, or like a British person speak. Okay. It wants you to speak a clear English, because even inside Brazil we have different accents. In the US we are gonna have different accents. So your pronunciation, since it's clear, is the most important. Okay. The most important is that you speak clear English with accent or without accent, with our Brazilian accent. That's it. I take myself as an example. Okay, I work for an American institution, and I'm a Brazilian, 100% Brazilian, and that I learned English in Brazil, and it's enough for me to travel all over the world teaching about TOEFL IBT, teaching Portuguese as second language, and that's it. Okay. Again, the person, let me read again. This TOEFL IBT use mostly solely US variant and the listening language. Okay. No, not only American US variant. Okay, that's right. Let me see if we have any other question. No. Chan, let's go. So now to the speaking section. Okay, this one is the section that I like most. It's fast, 70 minutes. Okay, but I don't think Brazilians they like this section a lot. Okay. Let's consider here that you're going to be pressured for time. I think even more than in the listening and reading sections. Okay, some questions you have 45 minutes to answer. Some other questions you have 60 minutes to answer, 15 minutes to prepare your answer, and 20. Sorry, not 15 minutes. My God. How stupid. 15 seconds to prepare your answer, 20 seconds depending on the type of questions to prepare your answer, and 45 seconds to answer, 1 minute to answer. Well, 15 and 20 seconds to prepare the answer is not enough, but 45 seconds and 1 minute, that's enough, and sometimes a lot. Okay, well, let's go over a speaking task. Okay, test takers respond to 4 tasks. That's the first thing. One independent task talk about familiar topics. This is easy to train our students. Okay, you can find an interaction in the restaurant and in a cafeteria, or in the library, or in the entrance of the university, about your friends, different topics. That's why we call this independent task. And then we have the integrated tasks, a total of 3, 2 reading, listening, speaking tasks, 1 academic, 1 count-based, 1 listening, speaking task academic. Responses are based on what was read and heard, and the total time 17 minutes. Okay, 2 years ago, TOEFL IBT was a little bit longer. Okay, it took you 3 hours and a half, 3 hours and 40 minutes to answer. Nowadays, TOEFL is a little bit shorter. In the past, the speaking task would take you 20 minutes, now 17 minutes. And the reading and listening sections, they were longer as well. Okay, much longer. It could take more than 1 hour, each of them. Nowadays, maximum of 57 minutes. This is much better. You're going to spend less time inside the test center. It will be a little bit less tiring than it used to be. This is the most important thing that I'm going to talk to you about listening, okay? The speaking rubrics. The speaking rubrics are very important. You should copy, you should share, distribute to your students so that they know exactly what they will be asked in the speaking section. The independent and the integrated speaking rubrics, they are the same rubrics that the raters have to analyze, okay, and to score the answers, okay. You would ask, how are the responses scored? If you take a look on the speaking rubric cards, you have both of them on the material, okay. You see the independent speaking rubric and the integrated speaking rubric are exactly what you need to score your students, and also to make your students score one another. Okay, you can create situations that one student can score her friend. How, Edson? They like a lot cell phones. And even if we ask, that doesn't happen a lot with the TOEFL prep courses, because when they go to TOEFL prep courses, they really need to learn that, and they pay lots of attention. But you can ask them, you can assign a question, okay, a situation, and the one will record his her answer in his cell phone. The other one, his her answer. I like this a lot. I ask the professors that work with me, okay, my team, I ask them to do this type of activity because I really like this one. Okay, at least one activity of this in every single class, okay. And you give them the rubrics and ask, evaluate your friend using what they have to deliver, okay. Human raters use the rubric to evaluate topic development, delivery, and language used. You student will analyze, will evaluate, will rate your friend using topic development, delivery, and language use. Of course, you have to follow that, to show your student that. And then you have everything inside of this activity. When your student rater the other, he will pay attention on the type of response his friend delivered. He also will memorize what she has to deliver in a response like that. That's why a rubric scoring guideline is so important, because it describes the performance at the different levels of proficiency. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 levels, and 0 level that it's a kind of impossible unless you do not say anything, you are going to get a 0. Okay. Also for these rubrics, you'll see, and I insist, this is a very important and nice material. You see that there is a general description followed by 3 scoring dimensions that are delivery, language use, and topic development. When we teach our students to score, to rate her friend, we are teaching them to score, to pay attention on their own answers. Okay. Also, is important to tell to you professors that these are holistic rubrics. Our students might not know what holistic is. Anyway, we can try to explain them. Okay. That holistic would mean that the level of performance is determined by assessing performance across multiple criteria, let's say as a whole, okay? That she will be analyzed as a whole. Raters won't pay attention to a specific topic, okay? It's nothing so let's say idiosyncratic. I'm gonna pay attention that you said she like instead of she likes. No. Of course, it's a mistake, but they make this type of mistake. Okay, so it will be a type of holistic criteria. That means an analysis as a whole. This is very different to an analytic rubric, which articulates levels of performance for each criteria and so on. It's not this way our students, our raters will score the responses. The general description also, it's important that I tell you how to use. If you can find these rubrics in your booklet, would be very good, because I'm going to ask you to use them. And they are at the end of the speaking section. The general description is the holistic description of 4 score levels or bands. We say levels or bands. For topic development, the raters, the scorers, will look at whether the test taker has addressed the task. If he answered the question he was asked, whether they have demonstrated and understand of the material and made appropriate connections between the content and conveying relevant information. For delivery, raters will consider whether the response is clear and fluid. Okay, that type of response the student, the test taker speaks in a fluid way, and whether the delivery is sustained throughout the response for overall intelligibility. What a horrible word. Okay, if that was understood, if it was comprehensive. Lastly, They will consider the language you use, and this is also very important, which includes both the range and accuracy of grammar and vocabulary used. Holistic means an overall, okay, of all this. That's why if we tell our students, you have to do this, okay, and show them, it will be much easier for them, for us to work with. We can also have to let our students know that we have innovation in scoring. And TOEFL is the only one that has this type of innovation. All speak responses are rated by both a human rater and a speech rater scoring service. Okay, let's say reading and listening, automated correction. And you can tell your student that. And that's why at the end of the test, if you want to know about your scores on listening and reading, it's possible. Okay, but speaking and writing, they combine machine and humans. What is innovation in scoring? Combine the strengths of a machine and human scoring. Human raters will evaluate content, meaning of the language, what's behind the meaning in a holistic manner, not exactly strict to the point. Automated scoring by the speech rater service evaluate linguistic features in an analytic manner. How many times you repeat that word, if you said wrong conjugation and this type of things. And then you have the mingle of both corrections to get your raw scores, okay? Rubric score, human scores are combined with machine score. Human scores and machine scores are optimally weighted to produce raw scores. Raw scores are converted to a scale from 0 to 30, and that's it. Oops. Já fomos. Okay, that's it. Benchmark. Do you know what a benchmark is? This is my question now. Chat, please. What is a benchmark? Nobody? This is easy. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, we have one. Rebecca, no, she doesn't know. Who knows?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay. Very good that you don't know. I'm happy. I'm gonna teach something because of course, most of the things that
I'm going to learn now.
Most of the things that I have talked about, I'm pretty sure that if you don't know, you have at least an idea. Okay, a benchmark is a model. Okay. A benchmark is a type of model that will tell me this is a typical answer level A. So any answer that looks like this model would be A. Any answer that has these characteristics would be considered a level A answer. So a benchmark is a type of model that tell you typical type of answer. Let's say that in the speaking rubrics, we have 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna listen to 4 benchmarks for speaking task 2, independent speaking. 4 types, 4 levels of answers, okay? This is a benchmark, a model for that answer. First of all, let's see the independent task per choice. What is asked to us?
Some universities require first-year students to live in dormitories on campus. Others allow students to live off campus. Which policy do you think is better for first-year students and why? Include details and examples in your explanation.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you some responses, okay? I'm gonna give you the benchmarks, and then we're gonna listen to some students talking, and you will help me to analyze. You will help me to score those answers. I would make breakout rooms, but I'm not very confident on the internet. And I'm afraid that if I break out rooms, okay, I'm gonna break everything. So I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna have breakout rooms or not. But first of all, let's listen to the benchmarks. Benchmarks. Annotations provide a narrative description of the level. Let's see page 36 and manual. Each score represents a range of ability. Okay, a person that gets level 4 would get this type of speaking. Level 3, this, and so on and so forth. Okay, level 1 is the lowest, and level 4 is the highest. You're gonna find mistakes in all the levels, but you're gonna see when you go to the score, the rubrics, okay, the scoring rubrics, everything that you need to score this answer is there, okay? Let's start with the answer level 1. And again, we are answering this one. Again, just to make sure that you know what we are answering.
Some universities require first-year students to live in dormitories on campus. Others allow students to live off campus. Which policy do you think is better for first-year students and why?
Okay.
Include details and examples in your explanation.
Our students were asked, which policy do you think is better for first-year students and why? It's not a matter to say this or that. I have to say why. Besides saying why, I have to include details and examples in my explanation, okay? A model for level 1.
I think the dormitories living, the students lives in dormitories very close to each other, students, so they familiar to each other, so proceed students relationship and communication, so very familiar. Cause good job for students.
You have this in your booklet, okay? All of these you have in your booklet so that you can use it with your students. These are real situations. This wasn't created to give it to be shown to you as a model. No. These are real responses that are from real test takers of TOEFL IBT. And then they took these responses, no name, no anything. This is a very good advantage of TOEFL IBT. The raters, the people who correct your test, they don't know where you're from, they don't know who you are, they don't know if you're Brazilian, Colombian, American, whatever. Okay, they might infer because of your accent. Okay, I can recognize a Brazilian speaking English of a kilometer far. That's it. But they are not sure. They just receive a number, your ETS number, and that's who you are, that number. And this is very good because they don't make any inference on you. Let's suppose that it is because we have different nationalities correcting your test. It is not only Brazilians, Americans that will correct your test. Okay, we have raters from all over the world. So, of course, all of them need to be a master in education and so on and so forth. but they don't know where you are from. And this is very good. What I'm emphasizing is these answers are real answers. They were taken from real TOEFL IBT test takers' responses. Level 1, you heard, she says lots of things, but she doesn't say anything concrete. She gives all of a sudden sentences, okay, just like as if her sentences were in the air. She doesn't use connecting words. This is a typical level 1 answer. If you go to the scoring rubrics, you're going to see that all the details we have there, we have inside this answer. Let's go to level 2.
The policy of students.
Okay, sorry. Oops. 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 Okay, I want you.
The policy of students to live dormitories on campus is better according to me because it gives them time to know about the city, and it is more easy for them to live in dormitories on campus. They don't face much problems. Moreover, it gives them times to find
You see, she didn't finish her answer, okay? It's a type of, she tried to speak, but she didn't, in fact. She addresses some parts of the response of the answer, but she knows English. We can observe that she knows English, but she doesn't have any preparation. Let's go to level 3.
I think the better policy is to make students live in the dorm, because the first year student live in the dorm, because I think it's safer first, because most of them come from other town, so they don't really know their environment, so I think it's safer. Moreover, I think they can make friends in the dorm, so they can have good relationship to know how the university is going. I mean, they know better their environment, especially if they don't have cars.
Okay, let me tell you one thing. You might ask me, and about the sound quality, Edson. Don't worry about the sound quality that we are listening here, okay? The raters, they have a very better sound quality. And the sound that we are listening here, okay, especially in the internet, okay, does not represent, it's not representative of what the raters will hear. In addition, raters will use will wear very good headphones, okay? They will have very good headphones to help them. Now let's go to lesson to answer level 4, and I'm going to say something to this model, okay, this benchmark, this model of lesson of level 4 answer, okay. This activity is that type of the student has 45 minutes to answer, okay, and he uses around 36 seconds. This is not important. The most important is that you start, develop, and conclude your answer. If you paid attention on level 2, she doesn't conclude, but she doesn't finish her answer. And when you simply the timer ends up and you didn't conclude your answer, this will take lots of points from you. Also, another thing that it's not very good, you're gonna see these, you're gonna read this in the rubrics in the table, is when you do a kind of chopped conversation. What is a chopped conversation? Just like, I think that leaving the dormitory is as if you were chopping your conversation, and this is something very bad as well. Digression. So when they are talking about whales and you are talking about hippos, or they are talking about vegetables and you are talking about meat, your answer has to be addressed to the topic. Otherwise, you didn't answer. And when we are nervous, when our students get nervous, there are lots of possibilities that they make digressions. So and they really kind of run away from the topic. Okay. Let's see level 4. You're going to have the impression that level 3 is better than 4. It is not. Oh my God. I love it.
I think it's better for the first year students to live on campus rather than off campus. Main reason because they are new to the city and it's safer for them to live on campus where there's more security, because they don't know much about the city in the first place. Second of all, it helps them to become more familiar with their surroundings where they have to study. It also helps them to meet new people. Living in a dorm encourages friendships with people who you might not seem very comfortable with the first time, and it helps you meet new people. It helps you to interact with your seniors, if any, living in your dorm.
Okay, she's very fluent, and this is a very good model for level 4. You could observe the different types of answers. Okay, you could observe what is needed in each answer. Let me see one thing here. We said, okay, we have now 4 test takers and 4 responses, real responses. And now you will analyze the responses, but don't try not to guess. Try to look at the rubrics. Let's try to find the page of the rubrics. Okay, I think, let me see, the rubrics are on page, I would like to remember that. Try to go to page 36. I don't remember exactly if it's on page 36. Maybe it's on page 36. So does anybody have find the page of the rubrics? Just share with us, okay, please. Oh, 38. Thank you, Diane. That's a teamwork. Because if I'm going to tell you, okay, I have to tell this to you. I know how to use the internet and the computer quite well, but I don't like. And I'm pretty sure if I change the screen, I won't return. That's it. Probably because the computer, they don't like me. I have my laptop, and when I'm on a presentation, I use 2 computers, because if I have a problem in this computer, I have another one. You think I'm lying? No, I'm not lying. I really use 2 computers. I have another computer here, okay? Just in case, if I have any problem, okay, I can use the other one with you, because I don't believe in computers. I don't believe in the internet. And the proof of this is the amount of fake news that we have. Anyway, let's continue. Page 38. Level 1. Oh, not level 1. Test taker number 1.
It's better if at the first year the students live in dormitories and on campus, because it's the kind of adaptation they have to suffer because it's the first year and their first experience and the place, so they need help to recognize the location. They need time to live all those aspects of the new school, to have more friends, and because the first year is the more difficult because of adaptation, they need to be more closely relations.
Okay, she concluded her answer. She stopped. She had some more time. She spoke. She's a type of fluent. So, first of all, you as a teacher, with your students, you show them this answer. You will ask them to analyze. It's clear, okay, and your student will observe. If they don't, okay, please tell them, because we don't have to waste time in a class. It's usually 45 minutes or 6 minutes a class, so we have to use this time wisely. We are sure that this one is not a level 1, and it's not a level 2 as well. She speaks well. She speaks clearly. So the problem here is level 3 or level 4. Maybe your student, he is not that experienced, he doesn't, she doesn't have that knowledge. Maybe they could think, oh, maybe she's 2, okay? But we, teachers, we know that it's not level 1 or level 2. So we're going to concentrate on independent, pay attention, because you have integrated and independent speaking responses. They are different. They have lots of similarities, but they are also a kind of different. So let's concentrate on level 3 and 4. And we're going to do this with all the others, okay? We had this first one. We know it's 3 or 4. I'm going to play just this time for a second time, because I gave you the explanation right now, okay? For you to pay more attention. The others, I won't play twice, okay?
It's better if at the first year the students live in dormitories and on campus, because it's very difficult, the kind of adaptation they have to suffer, because it's the first year and their first experience and the place, so they need help to recognize the location. They need time to live all those aspects of the new school, to have more friends, and because the first year is the more difficult because of adaptation, they need to be more closely relations.
Okay, and now immediately after, I'm gonna play level 2.
I think the first year students
Number
should
2.
live on campus. That is because in the first year of especially the first semester, they will have a heavy load of subjects they have to follow, and that means that they have to be able to be on time in campus. And also, the first year of campus life needs them to be familiarized with buildings, with the surroundings, with the environment of the campus itself. So more times in campus will help them to do that. And also, you have to have lots of friends to be able to make yourself at home in the campus. At least this is the home for you for the next 4 years. So it's important to socialize.
Okay, number 1, number 2, let me just mute all, because we're listening something behind. Okay. Number 1, number 2, you have in your mind, okay, in the rubrics. Let's go to number 3. And then I want all the answers, okay? And let's see who gives the correct answer.
Most of students live live off campus, but like me, is to need to require to live in dormitories. Example, a theologian and like this, especially lives in dormitories on campus. They can each with pray and sing and worship, and the relationship is very.
Your student is very intelligent. He will know how to analyze, how to score. And when he knows how to score, he knows exactly what he doesn't have to do. Another thing, I usually ask my team to work with their students like that. If these or that student gave a level 3 answer or a level 2 answer, a level A, we will tell this student that she needs to study more English. Okay, and some level 2 answers, so we also recommend these students. We don't tell them that they can't take that course. They can take, but he needs to be aware that his development will be not, let's say, suffice. Okay, enough for that. I think enough is better. Because he needs to learn English. However, if the student gets a good level 2 and a good level 3, we make an activity that is you got your level 3 answer. The professor, the teacher, tell you that this is a level 3 answer. That's it. Because it has this, you did this, and that. Now you're going to take this answer and transform, develop, increase this answer into a level 4 answer. This is such a marvelous exercise. Your student will think a lot to transform that answer. Usually, it's better to take them to do this at home. And he will bring you a level 4 answer. And then when you compare and contrast, you ask your student, you don't give him the answer. Let him think. We have to let our students think. Well, you had this level 3. Of course, this takes time. And this is for small classes. Imagine you doing that if you were going to do that with 10 students in the classroom. It's not possible. Small groups, I think 6, 7 maximum, or individual private classes. This is a very good, let's say, resource for you to work with him. You had answered this level 3 response, and now you transform it into a level 4. What differences did you make? What you included? What did you include? Tell me, why do you think now this is a level 4 answer? If your student tells you exactly what he did, be sure 90 up, okay? He will score 90 up, maybe 100, because it's such a strong, let's say, an efficient exercise, because it tells him a very deep, or it not tells, sorry, it requires from them, from him, from her, a deep understanding of what he or she included, developed, and why he or she did that. Okay, usually from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, from 1 to 2. Impossible for a student from 1 to get a 4, from 2 to get a 4. No, this is not possible, because when they have such a large, a big gap, it means that he needs language. Okay, language acquisition, not preparation for the test. And now, the last test taker.
I think living in dormitories is better for first-year students
because in the first year, students may have troubles in doing and studying and living in schools, and they don't have many friends in school. So if they live in dormitory, they could make many friends living in dormitory, and it will be helpful for
And there was a train behind her, probably when the test center had a train line behind. Well, give me the answers, okay? Test taker number 1 is, number 2 is, number 3 is, number 4 is. If you read the rubrics, I'm pretty sure you know. Rebecca, okay. Okay, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, I have to consider that only 4 or 5 teachers listen to me, okay? Only 5, 4 who are working. What a pity. Come on, please. Okay, now we have a who else? Who else? How many? How many? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just 7 people. But we have 29 people. We started with 27, then we went to 30, and now we have 29, and I have a couple of half a dozen answers. Okay, if you were my students, I would twig the ones who didn't answer. Okay, but one thing, I'm very happy you understood the point. You took the point. Okay, all the answers are correct. Okay, the right path is 3, 4, 1, 2. And now you should ask yourself why you analyze it like that. Okay, what type of top developmental delivery language you use in the rubrics you use it, or you didn't even use the rubrics because of these answers, since they are a kind of benchmark, so they are really a very good model for level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Okay, but all of you got right responses, and this is marvelous. At least to me, it means that you took the point, and this is the most important. And just I'm not teaching you because you are teachers already. I'm just showing you that we have methods, possibilities of assessing our students' inner thoughts, what they have learned or read, and use this for themselves, with themselves, and not against themselves. Now let's see just an example, okay, to close, of an integrated speaking task. That is a reading, listening, speaking, campus situation topic. Consists of a short reading, conversation in a single question. Test taker reads on one paragraph, often a proposal or an announcement from a campus source such as newspaper, website, or email. The test taker hears a conversation between 2 students about the reading. One will state his or her opinion. The other one is just going to say, yeah, I agree, but in fact, we should pay attention, lots of attention in one person. The test taker is asked to briefly summarize the reading and to state the student's opinion and reasons for that opinion, okay? Note taking allowed, prep time 30 seconds, response time 6 seconds. This is a type of integrated speaking task. Remember, this one that we did were independent. Now we are taking an integrated one, okay? Let's just go. In fact, we have time.
City University's choir is changing its performance schedule next year. Read an article about it in the student newspaper. You will have 50 seconds to read the article. Begin reading now.
Okay, so the question is the question is shown, and now we have to read the article and then listen to something. I'm gonna give you exactly the amount of seconds for you, 50 seconds to read the topic. Okay, begin now, please. Okay, then you will listen to two students talking about the same topic, okay? And you aren't going to read these again.
Now, listen to two students discussing the article.
Jim, you're in the choir, right? What do you think what they're doing next year? This article.
I really like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. The new director's right that it will motivate us.
How's that?
Well, some of the other schools are really good, so we'll really have to work hard to go up against them.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we don't rehearse more than once a week. But if we know we'd be competing with other schools, we probably rehearse more often and improve our singing a lot.
That's true. The more you practice, the better you get. So, what about what the article said about how this will help the program?
I hope it works. Right now, our program is pretty small, but we have some really talented people. And it would be great to attract even more people.
So, how will this plan help?
Well, if we go to these off-campus events and other people hear us and think we're really good, we might be able to get some new students interested in coming to this university to be a part of our music program and perform in our choir concerts.
You're right. I hadn't really thought about that.
Okay. Let's take into consideration that the word rehearse is not an easy word, okay? And if you don't know the word rehearse, and that is ensaiar, you will get less understanding than you should. Well, we have the compare and the contrast. Okay, let's go to the question itself.
The man expresses his opinion about the change described in the article. Briefly summarize the change, then state his opinion about the change and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
We should tell our students that we won't have time to do that in such a calm way, okay? You won't have time to write that a lot. You will have 30 seconds, so just main ideas. In 30 seconds, you just get main ideas. And then tell your students to have in his head good beginnings for start explaining his ideas. Key points for these questions are the changes that the core at the City University will add off-campus competitions next year, not only inside the campus, off-campus. The man agrees with the plan. He agrees that performing in competitions will motivate the core to improve because they rehearse more and therefore get better. Of course, we don't have time to write all of this, but ideas, okay? For example, core will be at off campus next year. Just these ideas, okay? More time to rehearse and improve consequently. He agrees that off-campus events could help the program grow. More people would see something is said now that the sound has a low quality, something like that, okay. More people would see the core, and that might interest new students, other people to come to the university. These are the key points, okay. So we have two types of integrated responses, and
actually there's a change. The student like it, that's program.
Just a minute.
Actually,
I didn't ask you to do that, please.
There's a change in the organization of the choir schedule. The choir so
actually
far hosted
the
only
student like it, that's
okay. I don't know what happened. Just wait a minute. We have two sample of integrated responses, and I would like you please to say if it's level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4. This time, due to lack of time, of course, I didn't put include 4 answers, just 2 for you to help me. Let me see, we have now 24 students, 24 teachers.
actually the student like it, that's program. First of all, his opinion was in the other school, maybe it's good, and you can work to improve singing a lot. And additionally, a program he talked about his program. It was small, but if you go to campus and to singing and other students heard that, they will enjoy to come to this university. That's that's the another things. In my opinion, I agree with this student. That's improving singing a lot in his university, and the program is.
Well, he didn't finish. Remember, chop the conversation. Okay, we have 15 minutes, but we don't need 15 minutes. Chop the conversation. He didn't finish. Test taker number 1. We know that on level 1 he is not. At least that. Okay, but we don't know. At least I don't know which level you will score him. Let's go to test taker number 2.
There's a change in the organization of the choir schedule. The choir so far hosted only singing concerts on campus only, but from next year there will be competitive events held in other locations. Jim, a member of the choir, likes that. There are a few reasons for that. First of all, he thinks that by engaging in competitive events, they will get more rehearsals and will improve their singing in a better way than they've been doing so far. And it will also help their choir program because although there are some people who have talent, the choir itself and the program is small. But if they go around on different competitions, other people might see how good their choir is and might wish to join the choir. That way, the size of the choir will improve, and that is generally a good thing. And those are the reasons why Jim, a member of the choir, likes the changes.
Sorry, he's very organized, yeah, and then he's so sure that he says at the end. That's why, showing I'm concluding the answer. Please take a look. I'm finishing my answer. Well, test taker number 1 is, test taker number 2 is, please, your answers. Okay, I want at least 6 answers, okay, because now we have 23 teachers, and not only 2. Please, come on. 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 4. That's it. Congrats. It's easy to talk to you. It's 2 and 4. Okay. Test taker number 1 is 2. almost 3, but he didn't conclude. And he has a type of chopped conversation. And this is really a pity. And number 4, he has some doubts, but he is fluent and he addresses completely his answer. Okay, he goes straight to the topic and develop the topic and also conclude what he says, what he answers. Well, we have lots of activities, okay, in the activity book. A suggestion is activity 7 to 9 in the activity book. Okay, you can see that later. Using the scoring tools in the classroom, I have already explained it to you. Okay, the rubrics. Use the rubrics with your students. Okay, make them use the rubrics because they will use all his internal knowledge to express his language inputs, outputs. Just a few words about radar training and scoring. Okay, it's not any person who will rate the tests. Okay, the person apply. The person has an intensive ATS training. Of course, the person needs to have a curriculum on education, okay? And daily preparation test, monitoring by scoring leader, and analyze the results, okay? You have to be very on the same path of the others. If you want to give 1 and you give 3, and then a third person comes to try to see if the one is too little and the 3 is a lot. Okay, if they observe that you were scoring in, let's say, in a way that it's very different from the others, at that day you want a rate, and then you can come back on another day. That's why it's very important, daily calibration test. You have to be on the same tune. You have to be on the same level of your friends that are rating the test. Next meeting, writing section, it can be also with Adiane. Okay, I have to thank you all. I'm writing my email on the chat so that if you want to contact me, please, it will be a pleasure. Just a remind, no, it's not Ella, it's Ella. Just a reminder that you will have a certificate, okay, after the last workshop at Canela at etsaglobal.org. That's me. Please, feel very comfortable if you want to contact me, if you need any help, and if you think that I'm able to help. That's it. Thank you so much. A very wonderful, nice pleasure to meet you all. Okay. I hope I have contributed to some of you. If you have any question, okay, just let me know. Okay.
Teacher, excuse me.
You.
I just want to remember for those who didn't see it, the attendance list is in the group, WhatsApp group, all right? Thank you so much, guys. See you.
Okay, Vesleni, also Julian, thank you so much. Rebecca, I thank you all, Julia, for your time and for sharing your ideas with me. Okay, Aline, I have to thank you a lot. Okay, we talk after we finish this one. Okay, we talk after we finish this one. Thank you so much for helping. And
okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you so much.
Have a nice beginning of the night, okay? Beginning of the evening, better saying.
Yes.
Okay.
It is already dark
Okay.
in here.
Yes, it is dark here also, okay. But I think we still have time for a Coke, or for a beer, or for a wine, or for something, because we are human beings and we deserve, okay?
yes.
We deserve. We work a lot. Everybody here is, we all have, sorry, the best profession in the world. And we deserve that, okay? Thank you.
I agree with you. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Thank you, Aline. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.